Oh.
Thor is fine.
Good to hear.
I'm doing great too. I'm excited with the next couple of games that we have coming up in the next little bit here.
I'd say they're worth being excited over. Would you agree to Muslim?
I would agree.
When you
just had a crisis. Thank you, Sean.
It's got nothing to do with me.
I think it's everything to do with you.
Just blaming your co-desk mate for your problems.
He did frickin' shank me with his hand.
I didn't touch you.
Are you okay? Tensions running high here at DreamHack Winter 2015.
This next game I'm very excited for, Nate.
Yeah.
This is a big
Talk
game.
to me about it a little bit, Sean.
All right, so Lilbow versus TY, two players that have won their first game. TY beat Bunny 2-0, and Lilbow beat Nurcho 2-1, so they're both 1-0 overall in the groups. But this is a big game because TY obviously one of the big players in this group.
Yeah.
But obviously there's a little bit of hype around Lilbow. The way that he ended BlizzCon pushed him into having to do well in Legacy of the Void. He got, was it top 4? It was top 4, right, in China?
Yeah.
Top 4 there, and now it's his second tournament in Legacy of the Void. And he's got to perform, bro. And I'm looking forward to seeing how well he can do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are hoping that Lilbow can really show some big results. It's certainly one of those, as you put it, it's like a compromising position for him because of the way that BlizzCon ended up, and he kind of needs to produce results.
There's a lot of expectations.
Yeah, there's a lot of expectations which he's put on himself now. But the problem is he's never been that confident against Terrans. And I don't think that's going to have changed dramatically going into Legacy of the Void either.
I mean, the fact that his first match was Nurcho, which Snoot has been saying, in fact, I thought as well, that he's one of the strongest players in Legacy of the Void right now, at least from Europe, and he took him out 2-1. That's a big sigh of relief for Lilbow, because this is a group where you could, whenever you have a Korean, you're technically fighting for second and third, and the fact that he took out arguably the second place, arguably first place contender there, that's definitely a lot off his chest.
He had a ton of practice versus Zerg in China, though, because he played versus JD, played versus Isonu.
Yeah, the games versus J-Dog looked very, very convincing. Lilbow used some very aggressive plays.
Yeah.
But versus Isonu, it didn't look quite that crisp, and tried some cheeses, tried some Blink Stalker things, and it just didn't really work out. So
I know that's
a little bit hit and miss, and I didn't catch the games Nurcho versus Lilbow.
No.
But I think he has the mechanics, he has the skills to pull it off. But still, it's a little bit of a surprising result to me, considering how in shape Nurcho has been these last few weeks.
Yeah, I remember at Nation Wars just the last few days, is that every Protoss player copied what Lilbow had done in that Chinese event. They just copied his build straight away.
Yeah.
Because they seemed the most refined and seemed the most perfected that they'd used or had seen themselves. So it was
Lilbow is excellent. He's so good at refining his builds. He knows when to cut a few minerals here, like cut the probe there, and then just keep going. Like everything he does, the way he transitions and just plants everything, it makes perfect sense.
Well, I mean, as a StarCraft player, not so much like Zerg versus Protoss, but what do you think's been Lilbow's biggest weakness that you've seen, playing against him and over the years?
Maybe being a little impatient at times, overextending a little bit of overconfidence, a little bit of sometimes the wrong build order choices, being a bit too aggressive. I think he often likes to end the games very quickly, and it's a very big strength for him. He has a lot of experience. He has that killer instinct that we speak of so often. Like that part of Lilbow is really refined, but it's also a double-edged sword. Like sometimes it backfires. Yeah. But I think overall it's really part of what makes him such a strong player, even if it sometimes hurts him. Aside from that, he doesn't really have that many weaknesses, I think. I feel like he has a strong understanding of unit compositions. He has a strong understanding of how to do things like lay out the build orders when it's chrono boost, things like that. So I think he's just a very strong player overall.
Yeah, I guess that really just kind of brings up how strong TY is going to be playing here. He did finish very high in the recent Shoutcraft Invitational as well. I mean, he took out both Bomber and Beyond, more so on the TVT side of things.
Taking out Beyond in the TVT is a massive achievement.
Yeah, and he's clearly shown that he does have a grasp on Legacy of the Void. Didn't play too many other matches, but we're going to find out, guys. He's about to play this Terran vs. Protoss against Lilbow. Don't forget, of course, stay in the runnings to win some swag from our sponsor, ROCCAT. Tweet hashtag set the rules, as well as hashtag DHW15. But it's time for our next match. It is going to be TY versus Lilbow. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Nate. Thank you very much to Muslim. Looking forward to this one. This is going to be a big game because one of these two players is going to jump forward and look like they could go through, or should go through, top 3 within this group. Getting a good start 2-0 is fantastic, especially because obviously these two players are pretty much top 2 within this group, respectively. So we'll see which ways it's going to go. I'm looking forward to seeing if Lilbow can take down TY. It's going to be difficult, though. You do have the map order in front of us.
Yep, it seems like the first map is going to be on Ruins of Ceres. It's a very drop-friendly map, if you ask me. Dropping medivacs all over the place. I think that's one of TY's biggest strengths. His multitasking is insane. And here's the man himself, spawning in the bottom right of Ruins of Ceres. It is TY. Looking very, very calm.
Zero chance. He's out. Game's already over.
This is so over.
And he goes up against the Le Baguette. The French blue Protoss player, Lilbow, who looking like a gangster today.
The swag levels on this tournament has been insane.
Man.
So many hoodies, so much swag. Le kick, le Lilbow, le baguette.
When did you get back from China? Midweek?
Just a few days ago.
So like 2 days maybe?
Haven't been long. Yeah,
Hasn't been long. I guess he was at least on a very similar flight to you back as well.
Yes, probably. So I'm not sure what Lilbow has been doing these past few days. Probably resting a little bit and also practicing. And
straight into another tournament.
But his form seems very solid, and I think in offline settings like this, he's very experienced. So I think he can take on TY here.
All right,
well, it's going to be difficult.
Gateway to Nexus here, and Cybercool has been a little bit delayed to squeeze out, that Nexus, whereas TY, Barracks, really fast factory, and there is double gas behind this as well. So a very limited amount of mineral income, which clearly is going to be pushing him into a one-base situation. But where exactly does he go with this, and what do you think he could have planned?
Yeah, this is a very strange build. No expansion for probably quite some time on TY's end, and this is something that we talked a little about with Nate earlier, that the 1-1-1 can actually make a comeback here. There's a lot of special one-base builds that you can actually use on maps such as Arena, but we don't see that map here just yet. I don't think we've seen a single map played on this map so far. But either way, this is going to be a very, very aggressive opening from TY, and it's going to be exciting to see how it's going to play out against the new Mothership core. And this Adept from Lilbow probably is going to be the scouting Adept, but
yeah,
the wall-off should be there to block any sort of scouting.
No information whatsoever has been
just a reactor on the
gathered here.
barracks.
So yeah, Marine production starting up. We'll see if it's going to be tanks immediately, which it is. So tank number 1 has started. Now it comes down to Lilbow trying to figure this out. It's a 4-player map. He doesn't know exactly where his opponent's spawned. He's found the SCV, which is nice, I suppose. But is Lilbow now going to go scout south? Is that the
It seems like
plan here?
This Adept is going to go there, and it should go south unless Lilbow decides to stay back home. But either way, Lilbow will not be able to see a whole lot, but just having the confirmation that TY spawns in the bottom right is going to be very helpful, because then you know that the Liberator threat is there, and you will know, oh, this is so smart by TY.
So he sends
the Shade can go through. Like, Lilbow has to go check now.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't pull back, because
don't pull back the Shade.
That would have been crazy, but he goes through, and he sees that this is a one-base play.
And seeing the Marines there as well, he obviously knows that TY spawned in the bottom right. So at this point, Lilbow really has to prepare quickly, and is getting this Observer just in case.
Pylon being built there just kind of by the gas to cover this south position for a photon overcharge if need be. But here's the tank drop already hitting the mineral line. One probe's been targeted, one probe goes down.
And the Pylon is not yet in position. There it is. It could fire the overcharge, but now TY smartly picks the tank up away from range. But the depots were down, and this Adept has got into the mineral line.
It has. It's going to find itself a couple of SCVs here. Photon overcharge has been activated on that Pylon.
That's a lot of shots on the tank as well. This tank got so injured. And look at the worker difference now. TY, 20 workers. Oh. No second command sensor
Warp
yet.
Gate's just finishing up now, so 3 Gateways going to be powered up to see if he can defend this. 3 Stalker Warp-ins. The robotics facilities chrono boosting out this Immortal 2. But here goes Lilbow. He tries to take down the Medivac and he gets it. But is he going to fully defend this? The SCV's trying to defend, and
no, if you ask me,
this is defended. This is really good.
This looks like a very solid hold from Lilbow. Some very cute Marine Medivac micro here from TY. looking very good, but the question is, can he actually break Lilbow here with the overcharge? I don't think it's going to happen.
Another photon overcharge there, and that's going to be able to push TY back. The Immortals popped out too. Lilbow does take sufficient probe damage, but at the end of the day, it's still 34-21. It is still one base for TY, and this is looking absolutely fantastic of a start here for Lilbow.
Yeah, this is not how I would expect this game to play out. It's such a big map, and these are probably the best spawning positions that TY could have hoped for. It's the best way to drop. Like the air distance is minimal here.
And something I've learned over the years here, Snoot, is no matter how good and how well you think you've defended a 1-1-1, it's never over until the GG's called, because somehow Terran can still make it work.
Yeah, it just feels very helpless for TY. He has to deal damage with this. If he doesn't drop a CC anytime soon, I mean, just look at the worker difference right now, 39-22, and Lilbow might overextend, like he's still making probes, and that's not the right call, and I'm not sure if he realizes that TY is still one-basing really hard, but doesn't matter. This setup from Lilbow seems very strong right now.
Immortal production continuing on, or as we learned earlier, chained Immortal production.
Training it, chrono boosting it.
Chrono boosting it, a couple of units inside the main base to push back
I love
these
this Immortal on
tanks
the
as well.
high ground also, just really zoning out the tanks. You can't drop the tanks there, they will take massive damage from the Immortal. Probably, I think the Immortal can fire 2 shots before the tank even shoots, and then there's the barrier, so the Immortals are really going to be the MVP here for Lilbow.
Bunkers start on this natural now as TY looks to find victory on map number 1 of this best of 3, but with quite a few Immortals here in Stalkers. We are going to see him come through here. He's going to time warp on top of this army. He's going to go before the bunkers are ready, and the Marines go down incredibly fast. The Immortals fire the tanks, and that is an easy defense from the Frenchman, and he picks up map number 1. GG is called.
Beautiful game there from Lilbow. Amazing defense. Just having the correct reads, the correct response, making it look easy.
Easy life, easy game. Lilbow now with very close to a 2-0 in today's group. Not over yet though this series, as TY I'm sure has a lot more tricks up his sleeve. But a really good start there.
But is that really the way that TY wants to approach this versus Lilbow? I'm not sure. This opening just fell flat on its face. It didn't do anything. And it was even in the best spawning positions possible. And I believe this was TY's map choice. It's just very strange.
Which leads us to, what's the second map choice here?
It's going to be Prion Terraces.
That's the gold base map. 4 gold bases, 6 gold bases, excuse me. 2 for each player and 2 in the middle. Lots of money on this map. We'll see if both players can utilize it or who will utilize it. As we have seen the Korean Terrans, something you brought up a little bit earlier on, they do like to exercise these types of maps aggressively. Command centers floating towards these gold bases, lots of tricky plays. And of course, TY being a Korean and playing Terran does seem to make sense. But whether he'll go for that type of cheesy, aggressive play 2 times in a row and risk a best of 3 loss here would be interesting to see. Something tells me I don't think he will want to risk it.
Not after a game like this.
Yeah.
If I was in TY's shoes right now, going up against the Lilbow that defended so incredibly well, I would most likely go for the plan B, go back to the different approach. This was obviously a very prepared build from TY. He had this in mind, but I think the just dropping all over the place, perhaps, I don't know, just some sort of different approach would have been better here.
Yeah, it's definitely feels so. Interesting choice, but he has gone down 0-1 and now needs to find a recovery in this best of 3. TY started off with a good victory in Group D, a 2-0 over Liquid Bunny, but it's now time to see if he can make the recovery versus Lilbow as the next map has begun. And it's time to go to the gold base map. Let's jump in to map number 2. Is up here to the top left-hand side, playing for KT Rolls for his second DreamHack appearance. It is TY. Happy as Larry.
And here,
you do it, man.
In the bottom right of Prion Terraces, playing for Millennium, representing France, it's Lilbow.
Hype, 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 hype.
Hype, 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 hype. The foreign hope from France, the only foreigner to be at BlizzCon, last one. Very strong player, very strong micro skills. But we'll see. We'll see if TY actually takes it to the long game. I would love to see the 2 of these show off some great macro play here, so we can truly see their micro and multitasking shine, especially TY's multitasking. I've seen his TVC. I've played against him in TVC. His multitasking is on point. So I would love to see some turbo vac action.
Turbovac.
Turbovac, the boost vacs.
The boost vacs.
They actually have an upgrade now that makes them boost.
Boost forever. Pretty much boost forever.
Might as well, right? Let's add some more fuel to this tank.
I think it's like a second or so in between boosts. It's crazy. I remember seeing that.
I mean, if we can go faster, then why go slow, right?
Well, Lilbow is going to open up the same build as he did in game number 1 here. It's just the gateway with the accelerated Nexus plant, and then the Cybernetics core just behind it. Whereas on the other side of things, TY going for a more traditional, I suppose, opening. It is going to be the Reaper, the single barracks, into the command center for its second base expansion.
Not at the gold base, though.
Not at the gold base, not yet.
Going for the more conservative approach, kind of like we predicted here, and it makes sense. After the first game, you definitely feel like falling back on a more standard, straight-up approach. But this is, would you really say that this is the map for it, though, Sean?
I don't know. This is the perfect map for aggression. This kind of didn't line up too well.
So we'll see. We'll see what TY is up to a little bit later. The reactor is going down. Lilbow just continuing his standard build, making the adept. We'll be able to one off this Reaper for now with the mothership core. Grenade going off on the probes there, causing a little bit of mining time loss. And wow, I mean, it's an overcharge. It's not the most expensive thing in the world, and deals some damage on the Reaper, forcing it away. And if it's not being careful there, almost losing the Reaper to the adept there.
That would be a disaster.
You gotta be careful.
Trying to go for it,
He's
but
actually going to try to TPS this down. Like, that's quite ambitious.
So far in today's tournament, every Terran that's played in group stages has been eliminated. But something tells me that's going to change, of course, with Bomber, TY, and Bunny leading the charge in Group C and Group D. Here comes the Adept, gets blocked out. Let's see the command center, sees a couple of Marines, the reactor onto that barracks.
Oh, TY being very aggressive with this, and the Marines chasing this Adept away. Good control by TY. The Reaper gets a counter scout, but it's faced by another Adept. I'm not sure if you saw the robotics facility here.
No,
didn't see much at all.
A Warp Prism would allow access for these Adepts to be picked up and thrown into the mineral lines, which I'm kind of excited to see. More excited to see this Cyclone in production coming out from TY, something that we haven't seen as much in recent times. And a third command center behind it.
This could also be, you see there is no robotic space, so
yeah.
So Lilbow is not working towards the speed prism, he's not working towards the Robobay, the disruptors, so this might just be a huge gateway all-in at some point.
Well, we'll have to follow the progress. The Immortal does start off the back of the Warp Prism coming out here.
So possibly some sort of Adept harass into an Immortal all-in? Because there's no Forge, there's no Robobay, there's no Twilight Council, there's no third base, there's no additional gases in Lilbow's natural. This is probably going to be something very aggressive, but he is making additional probes, so we'll have to see here. TY is going for a bit more of a safe approach though with the triple command, just getting the siege tanks, and Lilbow sees this now. So
Cyclone comes out and it's going to start to do damage to this Warp Prism, and that is just going to escape.
Oh, that's so intimidating.
About.
This Warp Prism can never return again.
Yeah.
This harass got shut down hard. There's no way for this Prism to actually return.
And here come a couple of extra gateways. And remember, one thing that Lilbow did succeed with that Warp Prism, he saw third command center, so he knows this is 3 CC versus just double Nexus. And he clears up the Reaper, the Scouting Reaper, and 6 additional gateways. Snoop for a Zerg player, not bad. And here come the additional gateways. And we are going to see a flood coming out from Lilbow to try and close this up 2-0. Will the slow production of TY, because of this third command center, be enough to get out an army to defend this?
He's still producing SCVs, 3 at a time. And those SCVs, they are not Marines, Sean.
Just to the front, there's only 4 Marines in a bunker at the moment. A couple more units do come down, a tank and a handful of other Marines.
Lilbow is going to punch through this wall super hard, aiming for a quick 2-0 here, and this first warp-in is going to be massive.
Yeah, it's a lot of Adepts coming in, 5 additional Adepts, 2 Immortals as the damage dealers at the back of this. There's a lot of units from TY in the front, and here we go. Here comes the assault. The wall is up, but there's not a full wall, and he goes right in. The 2 Immortals go straight for the tank at the back. The bunker's going to be second, and this defense, is it going to be enough? There's quite a few Marines at the back there, but there will be an additional warp in, and it's on the top. It's on the high ground through the Warp Prism. and the Cyclone goes down. Next is that tank on the ramp, and then the following one behind it. And is he broken here, Snoot?
SCV is coming off the line, we'll have to wait and see. This sentry is being warped in, a little bit of an odd choice here from Lilbow, but look, he has so much money in the bank, and this Warp Prism is ready to deploy even more units.
He's got to be careful not to lose that Warp Prism, though. The Marines go for it, and he's going to take down the Warp Prism.
That's going to be the end of this attack.
And that's a big pickup for TY.
I really didn't think this would go so well from TY, but just an amazing display of defense here.
24 workers were killed, but 3 command centers. Lilbow has no forge, he has no robo bay, he has no follow-up.
Just going for another prism again, and I don't think this is going to succeed. Very, very awkward spot to be in here right now for Lilbow. And how is he going to come back
This
from here?
is so Protoss. You know what, I'm going to go for an all-in. And if it fails, I'm going to do it again. He's got 15 adepts. Mothership Core's ready to go on the other side. There is 16 Marines and 3 tanks this time with a double bunker at the front.
Still surprised to see so much of TY's army being in the main base, considering that the Cyclone... did he lose the initial Cyclone? I'm not sure.
He did in the fight, in the middle of the fight.
Alright then, but it makes sense to have a few units in the main. Lots of Adept Shades coming in here. Is he just gonna go for this? Wow, this is so crazy. Lilbow just...
The Adept is the new Stalker. And here we go. He's going for a fight. He sends his Adepts up the ramp. Is he going to break him this time? 2 bunkers with 8 Marines doing so much damage there. Another big warp into the main base. I'm not sure here, Snoot. He takes down, or trying to take down one of the tanks. And the north one at the top of the ramp is going to get taken down. Is he breaking him here? In a minute, we're going to have another warp in of Adepts. And he's going to fight these Marines head on.
Lilbow is so starved of gas, he cannot make any more Adepts. It has to warp its zealots, but this might just be a good choice. Look at the supplies. TY's army is just disappearing.
This? No.
Wow, Lilbow, really?
No, he takes down a tank there, and there is very few units left. The Warp Prism being targeted down. And it actually escapes there.
Oh,
that's good news.
So important.
There's a 10 supply difference, double army supply. Another warp is about to take place here. Oh, he just needs to shoot. It's like 1 bullet away from going down.
TY's attention is all in the main. There's nothing to stop this Warp Prism, and it's going to get its shield back, and this Cyclone is preoccupied with this Adept.
1 is on the way, Stim is on the way. If only he could get time enough to get up there, but Lilbow's going to do it.
Man,
he's going to get on top of the Cyclone here. There is another bunker, but...
This is the typical trap of, I defended, so I'm just going to proceed with my build as usual. No, you still have to be on your guard.
And here comes another warp in of units, and that is a big one. And there is very, very little left here from TY. And an unthinkable secondary attack in a very typical Protoss way seems to be working here. The upgrades are finally completing, but what is there left? As we see Lilbow targeting down the workers, there's only 18 of them remaining, and he continues to do so. Another big warp in of 5 Adepts on the left.
The Adepts don't really do a whole lot of damage versus these buildings, so it's going to... This bunker is basically like the invincible bunker. These Adepts don't really do a whole lot versus it, but... Can TY really come back from this?
15 workers down. He still has 3 command centers. 70 workers in this 9-minute game.
Comeback. But we've seen crazier things in the past.
Well, he's got Stim. He's got 1-1 upgrades for this bio now. But a couple more SCVs are going to go down. A 3rd Nexus has started here by Lilbow, who's going to keep the pressure up from this Warp Prism. The Cyclone's the obvious, defense to this.
TY still hanging in there. He seems determined to go on with this game. And looking at the supplies, TY does have an army lead. And whoa, this Prism.
Yeah, he's found the Prism. Good find there by TY. Good pickup. Very good pickup. All right, Snoot, let's be honest for a second. You've lost to these type of all-ins. The secondary.
Yeah.
Sometimes the 3rd attack. Does it make you feel angry? It does, right? Come on, it's not just me and everyone else on the internet.
I blame myself if it happens, but obviously it's very easy to get a little bit disappointed because you knew that the game was in your grasp. Can I replace the word
disappointed with angry?
Yeah, I mean it's sometimes the same thing. It's just you feel like you had such an advantage, and you know when you watch the replay afterwards, you know that you had the game. You just needed to do things a little bit differently. So losing or ending up in situations like this is it doesn't feel great.
And it's not over yet though, as we do see the gold base being taken now, and there's only a few SCVs, but still bringing in the money here for TY, as you can see.
One thing that really, truly feels great, Sean, is when you're very far behind, but somehow claw your way back into it with multiple small, successful moves. And I think that's maybe what TY is going to accomplish here.
I mean, what is Lilbow's plan? It just seems to build another round of Adepts and go again.
But this time he's getting the upgrade.
He's getting the upgrade for them. I'm going to continue.
I would love to see some bunkers from TY, because when the Marines are in the bunkers, they don't take the bonus damage from the Adepts. That's the greatest strength of the Adepts, is the bonus damage versus the light units. And if TY can get his Marines into the bunkers, that's going to do so well against these Adepts. But currently, he doesn't have a single one here on the low ground. And this can get ugly for TY really fast.
There's so many more Adepts on the way as well.
2 medivacs in production, but no more bunkers. Still invested so much into the SCVs. Everything coming off the line now for TY.
And here we go. Look at that. The tank's doing splash damage into the Marines. And this is an absolute slaughter from Lilbow. This is brilliant.
Insane.
With the upgrade now increasing the attack speed, nothing can stop these bad boys. 25 of them, 29. There's no units here. GG is called. And Lilbow takes out TY 2 games to 0. Look at that. Podding's. That's how you do it, man. That's how you play Protoss. And that is how you beat TY from KT Rolster 2-0 in group stages here at DreamHack. Lilbow now goes 2-0 in the groups and starts to top his group, looking for clear advancement into the bracket stages. Still more games to go. Of course, if Lilbow lost every game, it's not necessarily like he goes through from this point. But now TY, 1 win, 1 loss in group stages. But what a last game there.
Yeah, I mean, if the attack fails, try one more time. If it fails,
do it again.
Do it again. Keep doing it. And that's how Lilbow wins a lot of his games.
And he did it in WCS. I remember the games where he come back then.
Yeah,
against Hydra.
Yeah, the one on Iron Fortress in particular with the Colossus.
And here again, Lilbow plays the same old style and manages to still find victory. The interview is ready, so we can go straight over there. Lilbow's with Smix, and I'm sure he's got a grin.
Thank you very much, Sean. Lilbow, that was a very, very fun game personally for me to watch. I want to just jump right into that game too. Because, you know, you initially went for the all-in and TY defended very well, and then you know, the casters were saying, oh, okay, this doesn't look good, but then you just went for it again, and it just turned into this game where it was just, you just kept pushing and trying, and eventually you came out on top. So how is it from your perspective?
Well, when I saw the third CC at the beginning, I was like, okay, I will win, because I think my all-in is quite strong in general, so if he goes 3 CC, it's even worse for him, but I think he managed like as best as he could. I mean, he couldn't defend any better, I think, but like he had a bit other disadvantage, so in the end, he just lost.
Okay, well, you're having a really great start to your group so far. You defeated, I believe, Nurtio 2-1, and then you just defeated TY now. Which is a really great start to the day, because everyone's been mentioning today, you know, Solar was talking about how he's heard that Nurtio is really good, and obviously TY is a really good player as well. Taking down those 2 really strong players must put you in a pretty confident position.
Yeah, from my perspective, they were the 2 biggest, they were the better players in my group, so now I beat them, I'm fairly confident. Like at the beginning, I think I was like, I'm supposed to win everyone except these 2, so if I can beat these 2, I'm confident now, of course.
And talk to us about Legacy of the Void in general for you. Obviously, after BlizzCon, we all knew that you were focusing a lot on Legacy of the Void and practicing really, really hard for it. Recently at GPL, you took 3rd place, so you know it's obviously paying off. You're showing some results, and here you're already showing really dominant form. So how are you what are you expecting here?
Well, I think it's pretty YOLO game right now. Like, you just do things and see what happens, basically. We don't really know what is the actual meta game, so it's pretty YOLO. I think there is some luck as well. I think Zerg is a bit strong. And yeah, but I think it's very interesting to play, but yeah, well, it's just interesting to play.
And it's funny that you say that the game is very YOLO right now, because as Snoot was talking about you earlier, he was saying that you're a very, very skilled player, and especially when you come up with strategies, you're very, very specific with how you plan everything. But when you say YOLO, it makes it sound like it's the opposite. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
No, it's not like I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's like I do builds that are fairly good, but I don't know if it's actually extremely strong or if it's just what I think. So I just do what I think is strong and see what happens, basically.
All right, and my last question, obviously, like we just talked about, you defeated 2 really strong players. So how confident are you to move on towards the bracket stage?
Well, it really depends who I meet. If I meet Solar, I will get demolished, of course, but I think I can beat anyone else, even like if I don't have a high % of win probability. I think I can still win, but against Solar it will be like 1%, I think. So like I think I can go far if I have a fairly good bracket.
Well, thank you very much, Lilbow. We showed some really great games. I'm looking forward to see more of your games of your group. But of course, we're headed to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more StarCraft 2 action, so don't go anywhere.